Nigeria's National Assembly is currently considering the NGO regulation bill for passage. It has gone through the first reading, it's gone through second reading, it's now in committee stage, and later this month, the Committee on NGOs in the House of Representatives in Abuja will be holding a public hearing on the bill. And it's important that you understand what this bill means and its implications for both yourself as a citizen and for the country in general. And let me be clear, this is the most dangerous piece of legislation that has come for consideration in the National Assembly since the return to civil rule in 1999. It covers the activities of every entity and everybody that is not government. And it affects churches, mosques, schools, universities, hospitals, everything, as well as humanitarian operations wherever they are taking place in the country, whether in the northeast or in the southeast or south-south, whether in the middle belt or in the northwest or southwest. It is totalitarian in its consequences. Now, what does the bill require? Basically, all resources, all funds, everything that are collected or liable to be collected and made available to service communities, individuals in need in this country will be subject to Abuja. Before you can raise funds in your church and your mosque, you have to get Abuja's permission. After you've raised the money, you have to return them to Abuja for Abuja to tell you what to do with them. And when you've done that, only Abuja can help you to do your audits. Nobody can operate anything without clearance from Abuja. It's worse than a totalitarian piece of legislation. For the old mamas and old papas doing isusu in the village, that is revolving credit. Before you do your collections, you come to Abuja for clearance. After you've done your collections, before you share the money or rotate the collections amongst the beneficiaries, you come to Abuja for clearance. Ahmadiyya movement will have to come to Abuja for clearance. NASFAT will come to Abuja to do anything. The mosques that do collections every Friday to support people in their congregations and their communities will all have to account for that money to civil servants who will either tell them what to do with it or collect it and trouser it into their pockets. The churches will be out of business, the mosques will be endangered. This is what the legislators want us to subscribe to. And as a citizen, you've got to understand that this means that there will be no voice of criticism for government. Nobody can tell government anything. What this body proposes to do, what government is proposing with this bill, is that after it has been passed, everybody organizing in Nigeria under any form, students, Old Students Association, Reverend sisters in convents, Reverend fathers and pastors, wherever they may be, imams, alfas, and everybody, you will have to apply to Abuja for them to register you to operate. If they agree to register, they can refuse to register you, in which case you cannot do anything. Now, if they agree to register you, however, you will have to only hold that license for 2 years. After those 2 years, you will have to apply for them to renew your license. If they agree at that time to renew your license, you can continue operating for another 2 years. If they don't agree, that license lapses. If you try to do anything without that license, you'll be liable to be imprisoned for 18 months. And if they are sympathetic and agree not to send you to jail, you may be let go with a fine of 500,000 naira. The civil servants will collect this money in the name of the politicians. It will be used to fire up political power that will not be accountable to any one of us. And this is why I'm saying that this is the most dangerous piece of legislation that's been considered in our country to date, in the past 20 years. But you can do something about it. This does not have to be law. This will not be law if you agree that as the citizen, you are the boss. Contact your legislator at the state level, contact your legislator in Abuja, contact your senator, and your distinguished senator in your senatorial zone, and tell them this will not happen. This is your country too. And unless you fight for it, these people are going to destroy it, not just for you, but for your children and for your grandchildren. And that they don't have a mandate to do. My name is Chidi Anselm Odinkalo. I'm a Nigerian citizen.
A lot of people will now begin to appreciate the means by which the zoo have really planned to plunge everyone that live within that contraption. Wonderful people, we bring greetings to your doorsteps. Of course, this is still coming from the desk of Nicky Bobby. Having listened carefully what Mr. Odunka said, Chidi Odunka, you cannot understand the plans of the Fulanese. They are fighting from various angles. They are coming from all angles possible for them. They are using T groups. They are using economic marginalization. They are using everything. Is there anything that could be worse than this totalitarian government they want to run? In other words, it will still go to the extent that if those who happens to be in diaspora send money to their family, because it will still come through bank, right? So the family members have to take the money, then go to Abuja. Abuja will now approve if they will allow them to use the money or they want to, the way they want to. If it is money they want to use for hospital, they have to go to Abuja first. I remind you that I'm the one adding this. I'm just like analyzing the core situation, the worst scenario here. This is when you are dealing with people that doesn't have human sympathy. Example, Fulanese. This is that. They have seen the way things are going. They have seen that possibly they might not really be able to withstand situation of things when it comes to this election. Although there is possibility that they are going to rig the election. So having seen this with Britain want them to be a totalitarian government. They want Fulani to take over everything. That is why today they will come to the backyard of our house and be dragging our lands with us, those who came from Sahel. What do you think will be the end result of these things? The politicians, the legislators, the way they call themselves, what will they do? Do you think there is something meaningful they're going to do here? Because it is still the legislators that gave our own forests to them. Is it not somebody like Ojo Okalu? Ojo Okalu used Law Panta and Law Buku in Abia State, gave to Fulanese, a large community. Do you think that this bill, he will reflect upon it? He will not think twice. He will ask them to go ahead. These are the type of people we have. All the flavors, those who claim to be slaves. But you know the worst part of it is that they will be looking at these things. They will know, they will see it vividly. It's placed before their palms. It's placed on their palms. They are seeing it. They are even seeing the resultant effect by tomorrow. They will analyze all these things. They will still go ahead and collect money from Fulani and endorse these papers. Can you now understand what is going on? They want to cage everywhere. They want to own everywhere in a country that doesn't belong to them. These are the things we are saying. And this is why, if we are saying that we really need Biafra, so many people don't understand what we are saying. They don't. This set of people are not people you can deal with. They don't reason like humans. Do you understand what we are saying? So when Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is busy and still refused to come out in the dungeon of DSS, he refused to compromise. You cannot understand why he decides so. Because he don't want you, he don't want I, myself, to be in this situation. He don't want his children. He don't want his community. He don't want his nation. He don't want Biafra as a country. to be subjected to such situation. So sometimes probably maybe you want to go to your farm. You have to go to Abuja to get approval if the Fulanese will allow you to farm at your backyard. And this is why every now they are passing bill upon bills writing. They come up with the waterways bill, trying to take our waterways, the rivers behind our backyard. They are trying to promulgate a law that those rivers will belong to them. In other words, if you go to some of the rivers in your community, you cannot enter the river again. If it were those days we used to go to the rivers to fetch water, and when you go to the river now, the Fulanis will tell you, don't trespass. This belongs to us. It's what we are trying to analyze to you. If not that these days we have lots of boreholes, but it doesn't mean that we will let our resources be taken over like that. And that is why they are promulgating these laws. They are writing it as a bill. So the last stage is to pass it as a law. You have heard what Chidi said. You can do something. How can you do something? To start from the grassroots. Any legislator from the state level, go and sign, whether it's petition or what, tell them, no, we as a group of people, we do not want that. If they want that, let them do it in the northern parts. Not us. It will not flow for them. Wonderful people. These are the reasons why, after seeing a lot of things, Nikki Wabi said, we must come back and we must continue doing our best, bringing you this information. And when it happens, tomorrow, don't tell you that we didn't decimate this information to you. Remember this day, today, the 27th day of July 2022. And today is Wednesday, to be precise. So you have to understand what the Zoological Republic is planning, the Fulani government. They want to hold Nigeria, the zoo. Already they are holding it in ransom, but they want to take it entirely. They have tried everything. They want through fight, through war, all of them. Now they feel that they can do it through papers, by promulgating laws that will give Nigeria to them entirely. Like I say, I'm not in Nigeria. I don't believe in Nigeria. We are Biafrans, and that is the reason why we must do the best thing we should do. We must continue pushing ahead. Anyone trying his best to make sure that our voice will not be heard, I look at that person as an agent of the zoo. We thank you once again, and we urge you, do not hesitate, do not forget to hit the subscribe button so that you will be receiving such fantastic and wonderful news, and you will be able to know how and when to act. It is necessary. Not when the train must have left, you now start rushing to the train station. You got the point? And of course, we want to say that it is in Biafra land that all of us have our citizenship, and until Biafra is fully restored, we will not rest. May you remain safe wherever you may be.